Hello and welcome to a Star Citizen spoiler warning video. We're going to be talking about some of the rumours, rampant speculation, data mines, leaks for upcoming ships, CitizenCon 2955, the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, and Alpha 4.3.2 and 4.4, which I suspect is going to be the patch after 4.3.2. You have been warned that this is a spoiler warning video. We are not going to be covering the flight model leaks. That's at least in part because I don't want to encourage or benefit from people breaking NDAs, especially when in the case of the flight model test group leaks, where it can effectively slow down development. I think it would be hypocritical for me as well to cover those after I said, oh yeah, I hope there aren't any leaks for that. This video is mostly going to be about ships, but I do also want to sort of state my current thoughts on policy for covering leaks with Star Citizen. I treat other leaks and data mines, etc., as part of the Evocati soft NDA, kind of like they're part of that, meaning that I'll talk about them, but I won't show any footage or audio of them or screenshots of them typically, because they may have been grabbed from a Evocati build, like one of the Evocati builds, the earlier ones, or whatever. They've been data mined from that, they've been pulled from that. You might say that's a dumb restriction to set on myself, and I am a dum-dum, but it feels right, and I cover Star Citizen daily. I do want to cover it warts and all, but I also want to do what I think is right and have a bit of a policy on it. That might change and evolve in the future. Also, please treat most of the stuff in this video as speculation. And even if it was correct, it might have changed a ton by the time we see it, or we might never see it. Something that we are definitely expecting, though, or at least I am, is the Anvil Paladin gunship to turn up real soon, probably with CitizenCon and Alpha 4.3.2. So yeah, it looks like the Anvil Paladin coming to the game real soon. We also have the RSI Perseus gunboat, which is probably coming with the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo in November. Both those ships very, very close to completion, if not already complete. We also know that there are 6+ unannounced or yet to be announced ships and vehicles that CIG are working on according to the latest monthly report. Some of these are going to be variants or whatever of ships. CIG said in that report, a variant of a popular recent release is receiving grey box and LOD 0 work in tandem due to the nature of the changes. So that was probably the Apollo they were talking about, because it was recently released when they released that. And there have been some rumours and data mines now supporting that with an Apollo Hermes variant. It might be its own hull technically, but yeah, it looks like a variant of the Apollo. This is probably going to be a cargo variant, though it could possibly be a data runner or have that capability as well. It might be modular, but there are indications that it could have a tractor beam and even potentially top loading doors like the Ironclad, as well as a larger rear ramp, maybe. There isn't an indication of when that ship will be complete though, but I would rate that as pretty likely. It makes sense that they'd want to reuse that Apollo hull for lots of different things, and it would be pretty good for a cargo ship or something similar. CIG have also previously said they wanted a starter ship like the Golem, but for salvage. And in Alpha 4.3.2, that has a big salvage update. They implied there that was going to be a larger range of salvage ships. It's quite possible that we will have a new starter salvage ship in Alpha 4.3.2. And yeah, be very similar to the Golem, if not a variant for the Golem. CIG have said there is no Squadron 42 presence at this year's CitizenCon, but that doesn't mean there won't be any Vandal. We actually know that CIG have been working on Eslin Makan, the ATC operator from Levski on Delamar from the Nix system, who was previously in the standard system on Delamar, but obviously they went, no, this is supposed to be in the Nix system, and they've been working on the Nix system. We know that the Nix system is going to turn up relatively soon, but we don't know exactly when. I think this is going to be shown off at CitizenCon and then be in our hands in the not too distant future, the Nix system and all that sort of stuff. I also believe that Vandal will be in that system as part of the enemy's encounters and missions there. CIG have put some Vandally bits in the ASD facilities, and data mines have also found reference to an Asperia Stinger. The Stinger is a Vandal heavy fighter we saw most recently in the Squadron 42 Chapter 1 demo that was shown at CitizenCon 2024. Also, there have apparently been some Vandal sound and loadout updates to ships. Asperia typically make reproductions of alien ships for human use, like the Tavaran ships and the Vandal Glaive. So this implies they might be making this one too, and if they do, then they'll probably sell it for real money. We also know that CIG have newer versions of the Scythe Glaive, which could be making their way into our hands when they update those Vandal ships, because they'll be updating them for Arena Commander and for owners, and I would expect that they would update the Scythe Glaives before they make their way into the Persistent Universe in the Nyx system. And I do think we could have the Nyx system by the end of the year, and I do think we could have Vandal ships and Vandal ship updates potentially at CitizenCon. We know there's a Yomandi creature. This appears to be similar to the Swamp variant of the Valakar they showed as a concept in 2024 CitizenCon. I've seen some early leaks of the Yomandi, and it looks to be similar to a Frosty Dragon Lizard version of the Valakar. In fact, it might be a Vandal crossed with a Valakar, which would make sense if it's going to appear in ASD facilities. But yeah, I believe the name Yomandi comes from the Norse world serpent Jormungandr. There's also a relatively high probability that it's going to be part of a boss battle at the ASD facilities in 4.3.2. Also, there's lots of things in Alpha 4.3.2 at Cloud Imperium that use Yomandi parts, including some binoculars, but also lots of different variants of their new armors and weapons and stuff. There were some leaks of the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo 2955 stuff, so I want to talk about the potential date for this, which lines up with my expectations. So it looks like we're going to have the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo starting on November 20th, probably, and then going on to around December 3rd. Also, if the leaks and rumours are accurate, then it appears that it's going to be at the Vision Centre at Horizon Crusader this time around. Expect a load of new ships with the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo in November. You'll be able to buy pretty much anything that's previously been on sale. You'll be able to buy even capital ships like the Idris and the Javelin. They typically sell these in waves. We've heard there might be new choices for previously locked bespoke weapons on certain ships, but also potentially new choices for things like PDCs, the point defense systems. I'm expecting the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo this year to be pretty big, probably the biggest, most successful one they've had. Also, this is a great time to try Star Citizen, because typically during the IAE, the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, you'll be able to try Star Citizen for free, and you'll be able to rent all of the ships they're showing at the Expo, which is pretty much all of them, for free. Some other weird rumours as well. I've heard about a Shiv. I'm not sure if that's actually a ship or not, and the grey or greys market that might splice and slice ships, like from the Squadron 42 2019 visual teaser that they did. We did have that Drake Corsair looking silhouette from last year's CitizenCon that we don't know much about. That's likely one of those 6 ships they mentioned. Lots of people have been talking about the potential of splicing ships together, because that's going to be part of Squadron 42. Some of the ships you encounter are going to be spliced and welded together from other ship parts. It'd just be interesting to see how that would translate into Star Citizen as ownable ships from players. But yeah, weird. If they do something like that, there might be a random or procedural generation pool for ships that are made up of lots of different parts that you can find, but you can't necessarily buy. And tell me what you think in the comments below about that. I have no idea with that. We do know that CIG are planning to sell a battlecruiser at some point as part of a concept sale, probably the last concept sale they'll do, and almost all the other ships they're going to sell, if not all of them, will be straight to flyable. That battlecruiser probably going to be being sold next year. CIG have talked about carrier and mothership gameplay as well, landing on an Idris, for example, and being able to rearm, repair, and refuel while you're on there. I was actually expecting that last patch, but it hasn't turned up yet, so I don't know when that's turning up. The Kraken is in full production now, as are the Ironclad and Ironclad Assault. I do think it's possible that the Ironclad and Ironclad Assault could be ready for Fleet Week in May of 2026. And that, I believe, is all I wanted to talk about today in regards to your spoiler warnings. Super interested to know what you think about that. Have I missed anything? What are you expecting to turn up at CitizenCon at the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo by the end of the year? Have you heard any interesting rumours of features and that sort of stuff? Because people do speculate that we could see like bounty hunting before the end of the year, or some other new mechanics, right? We know that CIG are trying to get engineering in, at least to the tech preview side of things, by the end of the year. year, and they're progressing on all of that Star Citizen 1.0 content, and some of that's going to be coming into the game. Some of the Squadron 42 stuff's going to be drip fed into the game as well, where possible. Anyway, tell me what you think in the comments below, and something else that you should do in the comments below, maybe not the comments, but below, is click on the NordVPN link. Get yourself some NordVPN, because NordVPN, best darn VPN that I've ever advertised during this video. Click it and you get a big discount, as well as better accessibility, security, and privacy on the interwebs. I use it, you could use it too. If I could buy it twice to use it twice, I don't need to do that. You only need to buy it once to use it. Just get it once. It's October, it's CitizenCon, there is loads going on in Star Citizen, and I spy, with my Tobii eye tracker, something beginning with D. It's a discount. You want a natively supported, high-precision head and eye tracker for Star Citizen? Of course you do. It actually works with a load of games, actually. The Tobii eye tracker is super useful as part of your arsenal, but also really adds to your immersion. If you don't mind spending a little bit of time tweaking after setup, you can have a really awesome time. Look around your cockpit, look over your shoulder, and track ships in a dogfight intuitively and ergonomically like never before. It's got a load of features to improve the experience as well, with like camera boost, which is a little tiny bit like mouse acceleration for your head and eyes, but actually useful. You can get 15% off a Tobii Eye Tracker 5 until Monday the 20th of October. Links below to that. There's also a sweepstake going on from Tobii. You can join to win a Tobii Eye Tracker 5. Links down below to that too. Thanks to Tobii for sponsoring this video. Every month we have a ship giveaway, and for October, because of CitizenCon and it's a big month of celebration, we are giving away 5 different ships to 5 different winners. They all come with a game package and lifetime insurance. We're giving away a C8X Pisces, the Arrow Light Fighter, the 100i luxury starting ship, the Sulen, a very cool, weird alien starting ship, and the Nomad from Consolidated Outland. All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning one of those ships is comment on any of my videos made during October. Any of those are great to start the game with, or just as another ship in your fleet, or even as a lifetime insurance token to upgrade to something else. A big thank you as well to CIG for providing some of those ships for that giveaway. If you would like to further support the channel, consider becoming a Patreon or using the join button under my videos. That will get you some occasional exclusive content, and it really does help us out loads. Also, like, share, subscribe, that all helps tons as well. Thank you so much for watching till the end, and I hope you have a great October.